Chosen one, the storm you were warned about has begun. Somewhere right now, the ringleader of your opposition is being thrown under the very bus they built to destroy you. The same voices that once chanted together against you are turning on one another in a frenzy of fear and self-preservation. Their loyalty was never real. It was glued together by greed. And when truth entered the room, the bond disintegrated. Now, each one is scrambling for safety, spilling secrets that will expose the entire network. And you did not fight. You did not chase. You went silent. And your silence became divine disruption. While they plotted, you elevated. While they spoke curses, you built empires. They wanted to bury you in falsehoods. But every attempt to silence your name only amplified your legacy. Elon Musk's message is simple, and it burns with truth. Long into the future, this tree will continue to give shade. You're not only making a place for yourself to live in when you plant or do anything else. You're making something that will last for many generations. It was what people want. That's what everyone was afraid of. God sowed seeds inside you. You were completely unaware. The seeds then began to sprout. Something is inside of you. When you recognized who you were, what you had, and the power you had while running, you turn around. Everything that was pursuing you was annihilated by it. Your weapon is this. Your progress and success are now weapons. However, they're also the things that made you the subject of attention and surveillance. You're going to reach a moment when your success, whatever God has given you, will surpass you. You're overgrown by that tree. It is now outside of you. People will notice it regardless of where you go or what you do. Does your head have a tree sprouting out of it? Indeed, because what was growing inside of you has become so obvious that it can no longer be concealed. You can no longer hide your brilliance. You can't hide your brilliance. You cannot conceal your weapons. People are conversing and groupings are collapsing. The people who formerly gathered to attempt to dismantle the collective no longer even get together. When the collective collapsed, do you recall the festivities that followed? Former members are no longer even buddies. These days, no one even likes one another. However, there's more going on behind the surface. Something was constructed that was hidden from view. Something that will soon be made public. They work together behind the scenes. An agreement. A construction. Several individuals collaborating. This is what you were unaware of. What you failed to notice is this. It's clearing up now, so we can expose it. Things are improving. The team is taking everything apart. However, this is how it appeared. One key figure opened the group's ears and minds and united them as a cohesive one. This is what you do. That's what you tell them. For everyone, it gets deep. You're in a unique circumstance. How this occurred. You're aware of how this worked out for you, whether it was in a love, friendship, family, professional, or communal setting. However, one primary offender spoke to the group's ears and thoughts, uniting them as a cohesive one, to share the love of the angels, right, amen, and contribute up to $20 with a super thank you. You have to contend with this. God permitted some of you to be attacked by a group, to demonstrate your strength, not to destroy you. One person versus many. You defeated everyone. Consider that. You're outdoors. Several individuals rush up. You eliminate them all. That alone demonstrates a whole new degree of confidence. There was sabotage. They were setting up. People were telling you not to do business with you, which was damaging your reputation, because it was thought that you wouldn't survive if your resources were taken away. God granted you a full set of resources that no one other could access, but no one understood that. Before you found yourself in a difficult situation, you were unaware of some resources. Answers are on the way for everything that was attempted to be created on your name in the background. The clock is running out, and it has been a long time coming. On the low vibrational end, what is it? Breakups occurred, someone lost a partner, someone split up, and it has a lot to do with how you developed, how things worked out, and the outcomes. These are things that should have been considered before putting groups together and before creating this team to work against you. Why does God continue to reward them if the collective was so awful? Why do they continue to grow? Why were abilities that no one even knew existed used? Now someone is asking questions. Present mood and vitality. someone throwing up the fluids and leaving. The group is no longer together. Each person took a different route. They used to get together to talk about you. No one can now. You'd best stop talking. Who exactly would we be discussing? Take a look at that development and accomplishment. Watch them all go. Whoever brought this gang together is being used as a scapegoat. No one is picking up the phone. People are leaving messages. Voicemails from the past. There are no answers to text messages. Ghosting is taking place. You all want to get together and discuss the collective, don't you? Additionally, folks are upset with the ringleader for making faces and throwing the deuces at this individual. People left as the word continued to be demolished. Before departing, a few spoke. Some remained silent, and someone is going crazy about it. What do you mean by not returning my calls? Have I been blocked? Indeed, people gathered. Love, friendship, and companionship. We're going to discuss the collective getting together over pizza, union-style items. However, it wasn't simply friendships that were lost when everything fell apart. One of the partners became lost. You are aware that in order for your whole self to go, you must have done something terrible or lied a great deal. Someone moving out, living together, getting married, packing up their belongings, or going through a divorce. Not only because of you, but it shows character when individuals fabricate things like this, particularly when they are based on falsehoods. Someone who has been observing their spouse and partner for a long period, asking, "Who are you?" All it was really done by you. Kinship, a soul connection as a team. The term team appears twice. However, that was a trauma bond in this situation. This individual informed you about the collective and how everyone gathered around that pyramid, which is empty. Since it wasn't genuine, there was nothing to hold the center solid. To share the love of the angels, right? Amen, and contribute up to $20 with a super thank you. It was untrue. An attempt to form a squad against the collective was unsuccessful. Promote this video so that other selected individuals might find it if its message resonates with you. Something is finished. The team is finished. The friendships are over. The gatherings are finished. The meetings have ended. The divorce is final. The split took place. It's time to move on and move out. A life was damaged by someone. Imagine a home that is about to collapse. You must now move. Construct a brand new home. Go live somewhere completely different. Try something really fresh. Imagine, however, that it's more than just the home. Everything is important. The home, the pet, the lover, the friends, the work, etc. It's a case of starting from scratch. Everything was lost by someone. Finality, completeness, and ending. And tossing the deuces, look. I never would have imagined that I would experience this. That's what people are now thinking. Authority is shown at the bottom of the deck. This is most often the person to whom someone must answer. Someone was demoted. Someone was let go. Someone was taken out. This individual was removed, much like the community's mayor. People are being stripped of their stripes and expelled from office. It may be you too. You discovered who you were. No one wants you to find out who you are, because you will utilize that power as soon as you do. And this may suddenly be the how others see you. Recall that we began with growth and prosperity. This beast now surpasses you in size. There is no denying your progress. You have the ability to control your own destiny, relationship, and moral strength. To defeat them, we're going to band together and form a whole team. Before God revealed who you were, it was simpler to be less than to be silent and go about your job. When you were the one running and feeling scared and frightened, it was more enjoyable. Someone doesn't want to be here anymore. However, now that you've turned into this and have the ability to do this, split everything apart and make everyone flee. Doesn't want to be around you anymore, at least. I'm leaving you alone and fleeing with the utmost dignity and joy. Just so you know, however, you have feet. Wings were given to the angel. You will get got. It will be wise to turn back and confront criticism. To you, much prosperity, development, relief, and healing. Keep in mind that there may be items within that haven't been triggered yet. However, keep in mind that you have something developing inside of you as soon as you put your back against the wall. You're reaching a point where it is impossible to conceal or deny. You have grown larger than yourself, your tree. It is going in this direction. Your abilities have changed. There are now more powers. You are now afraid of the things that used to frighten you. Make good, but very good, use of your abilities. Make use of it. You're no longer only protecting. The area you're supposed to inhabit is being dominated by you. You're occupying land that belongs to you. Your empire is being built on unshakable foundations. Your awareness turned into an unstoppable weapon. Your tranquility turned into an unbreakable force. The fiercest charges lost their power over your quiet. Your development and achievement now serve as indisputable evidence that what you claimed was false. God opened a greater door every time someone attempted to shut one. Heaven offered alternatives that no one was aware of for every resource that someone attempted to restrict. You were the center of all that time. That whole amount of energy was used against you. They attempted to stop you with all those resources. You were constructing in the meanwhile. You were developing. You were learning things that no one thought you were capable of. No one could see you accessing grace. You were using supernatural tactics that made their human plans seem naive. Your development is no longer just personal. It is a generational issue. It's creating a legacy. It's building an empire. The food you're producing today will sustain your family for many years to come. People you'll never meet will be protected by the shade your tree offers. Structures you won't live to see finished will be supported by the foundations you're constructing. That is what was seen. People were desperate because of it. You realized you weren't only creating a life. A dynasty was being built by you. It wasn't only you achieving that was being watched. I saw as you created something that would outlive many generations. That's why the arrival was so difficult. Coordination was very cautious because of this. It was believed that if you were stopped early, the inevitable would be avoided. However, empires emerge without permission. Dynasties develop without waiting for permission. Legacies do not wane for the comfort of others. And you're no longer playing tiny. You are no longer hidden. You no longer apologize for occupying space. You are now acting with unquestionable authority. Wondering how everything went so wrong is causing people to operate in places beyond denial, build on foundations beyond shaking, and observe from the sidelines. How did someone try to grow something little into something so large? How could someone soar to such heights while others were trying to keep them down? How did someone become invincible while others sought to destroy them? Everyone would get tasks from the ringleader and send them home. Check out what's going on. Describe who is being spoken to. Keep an eye on where things are headed. Find anything useful for us. And compliance occurred for a while. Parts were performed. What was said was carried out. However, things began to change. The ringleader's statements began to seem inconsistent to one member of the gang. The tales no longer made sense. The facts were constantly shifting. That is why you are awful today. However, the cause was quite different last week. The charges continued to change and adapt in response to new facts. Internally, the individual began to raise questions, began to back off a little, began observing the ringleader rather than you. Another group member began to feel convinced, began to lose sleep, began experiencing those silent times when you're no longer able to deceive yourself, recalling the individual's identity before to being dragged into this group. People began to wonder whether this is really who they wanted to be, if putting so much effort into someone else's demise was the right thing to do, and if sacrificing integrity for the ringleader's favor was worth it. A third party began to see you differently and saw that the ringleader's statements about you didn't align with what they saw with their own eyes. You continued to rise while you should have been suffering. Sincere individuals continued coming to you even though you were meant to remain alone. You kept starting new chapters even though you were meant to be completed. It became impossible to overlook the gap between the ringleader's story and reality. These fissures began as little ones. A half-hearted involvement in the chatter, a missed meeting here, a delayed reaction there. However, foundation fissures always worsen, enlarge, and spread. To share the love of the angels, write amen, and contribute up to $20 with a super thank you. The ringleader knew it was occurring, but he was unable to stop it, couldn't pinpoint its precise origin, was unable to identify when things started to go apart. The ringleader so took the usual action when authority seemed to be eroding, tightened their hold, put more pressure on you, made more demands, held more meetings, heightened the drama, and intensified their assaults in the hopes that a larger shared foe would bring the disintegrating group back together. However, the reverse occurred. The desperation became apparent, began to see how manipulation was being used to everyone, not just you, began to wonder what falsehoods were being spoken about them when they were not there, given that the ringleader could fabricate such a large number of lies about you. What would happen to alleged pals who crossed boundaries if this individual could plan something this complex against someone who did nothing wrong? It became paranoid. For the group, not for you. The question of who in the group itself could be trusted began to arise. People began to wonder whether private discussions were really private. The lovely thing occurred when people began to question if the person seated next to someone at the gatherings was indeed an ally or simply another pawn being used by the ringleader. Turning against one another began because the foundation was rotten, not because you did anything. Hatred is the weakest bonding factor in the world, yet it is the foundation of unity. Although it may briefly unite individuals, it cannot sustain a relationship over time. To keep the connection going, something tangible is eventually required. Furthermore, nothing genuine was present. Just common involvement in what everyone knew was bad. Just communal jealousy, just shared anger. The first person to go didn't announce their departure. They just stopped attending, stopped returning calls about you, and stopped participating in the discussions. The leader of the ring called. Allowing it to ring occurred. Sent a text. It was left on the red setting. Arrived to their home. There was no response at the door. Even though no words were ever spoken, the meaning was obvious. I'm finished. I'm leaving. I no longer want to be involved in this. The second departing individual did speak out, explaining to the ringleader what was believed to have occurred. This is incorrect. We're doing the wrong thing. I'm not sure why I allowed you to persuade me to take part, but it's over now. Stop calling me about this individual. Don't send me updates by SMS. Keep me out of your plots. I'm finished. And while the ringleader was still attempting to come up with an answer and try to coerce him back into conformity, he walked away. However, manipulation only affects those who are unaware that it is taking place. You become immune once you see it clearly. The third departing individual took an even more powerful action. There was private outreach to other members of the group. Have you seen what I saw? Do you have the same feelings as me? Do you feel comfortable with this? Additionally, it was discovered that being alone was not the case. The same doubts, questions, and convictions were shared by others. For every collective, the death penalty is the formation of a subgroup inside the group. When individuals begin discussing the leadership in casual ways, the leadership is over. I have to cut this transmission short for a second. Have you been selected? Show it. Watching videos regarding selected ones is simple. Putting oneself to the test is another matter. It signifies something if you're still here. Talk, however, is cheap. The really selected ones act. I created Destiny Engine for that reason. You may use the patterns it creates to rewire betrayal into transcendence, convert solitude into holy power, and turn their failure into your success. By repurposing their secret consciousness technology, which was designed to promote competition and scarcity, to further divine justice, we use the dark elite's own weapons against them. The best part is that you don't need to do anything at all. After you put on the headphones and hit play, you can see your adversaries choking on the rope that their own falsehoods made. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 now if you're finished eating and prepared to demonstrate your selection. Witness the acceleration of divine justice in your life by becoming a member of the Obsidian Inner Order live checks. The description contains a link. Notes were compared. It was discovered that the ringleader gave various accounts of the identical incidents to everyone. It was discovered that they were being used against one another in order to keep power. Since unfettered contact between members was never permitted, it was discovered that the person who was supposed to be uniting everyone was really keeping them apart, isolated, and reliant on the ringleader's interpretation of events. Since it was no longer just about you, that realization was the detonator that broke everything. It was personal now. We now realized that we were also victims. Not of you, the ringleader, being dominated, manipulated, deceived, or exploited. And people's fury quickly changes when they discover they were tricked. The target, is quickly altered. The partnership falls apart entirely. The once active group chat abruptly stopped talking. The regularly planned meetings are no longer scheduled. The ringleader was left standing alone with a plan for a war that no one wanted to fight longer, commanding a deserted army, and commanding men who had dropped their weapons and fled. The phone conversations that had been used to coordinate assaults stopped. What was the most potent component? You didn't need to protect yourself from these individuals. The ringleader didn't need to be proven to be dishonest. The manipulation didn't need to be revealed by you. The truth has a way of coming to light. Darkness may be revealed by light. Lies tend to be contradicted by reality. Your sheer presence in blessing defied all that was said about you. All you needed to do was continue living your life, growing your tree, and walking in accordance with your mission. The ringleader is now sitting amid the wreckage, attempting to come up with a story that would explain why everyone departed and attempt to place the responsibility for the failure of something that was constructed on someone else. However, no one remains at fault. The members of the gang refuse to accept responsibility since they have previously admitted their role and left. You're definitely not blaming a group that you didn't request existed. The ringleader, the creator, the organizer, and the architect of a failed plan are so rightfully held accountable. The ringleader will encounter former members of that group wherever they go in the neighborhood, those who participated but left, and those who were aware of what was accomplished, those who are now ashamed that they were ever engaged. Additionally, such interactions will be uncomfortable, stressful, and full with unsaid history. The ringleader will experience that sense of loneliness everywhere. Turning occurs everywhere, at the supermarket, at work, at community events. There's a remembrance of what was constructed and how it collapsed. The ringleader will be completely avoided by some of the former gang members. To avoid having to talk, cross the street. When entrance occurs, exit the rooms. Quickly stop interactions by making excuses. It will hurt to prevent it. It will be painful. It will serve as a continual reminder that once respect is gone, it is almost tough to get it back. Other ex-members will be kind but aloof, courteous but aloof. Speaking will occur as required, but it will be brief. Just the bare minimum of social engagement that the circumstance calls for. No depth, no genuine connection, no trust. And since it's a continual reminder that the connection is dead, but the body still has to be recognized, that coldness may hurt more than the avoidance. Some ex-members may even talk candidly about what transpired, not to spread rumors, but to ensure that no one else is drawn into the ringleader's machinations. It is important to make it obvious that there has been a separation from that energy, that conduct, and that individual. Additionally, the ringleader's reputation will be harmed by such public disavowals in ways that may never be fully restored. However, the exterior repercussions are not the worst part for the ringleader. It's the insight from inside. The one time when you have to face what you have become. When you have to admit that you destroyed your own life in an attempt to ruin someone else's. It is necessary to acknowledge that losing everything true while pursuing something phony occurred. That real ties were sacrificed for a short-lived, destructive partnership. Integrity was sacrificed in order to get the illusory joy of having others agree with resentment. There is no avoiding that inward reckoning, which is either occurring now or will occur soon. You can stay away from people. Environments may be changed. New social circles may be formed. You can't get away from yourself, however. It is impossible to escape your own ideas. You cannot run away from your own guilt. With what was accomplished, the ringleader will have to sit down. And that's a worse penalty than anything you could possibly plan. Observe the results of the ringleader's attempts to establish new relationships. Approaching someone with the same energy will now result in the same deceptive charm that was effective in the past. However, they're now cautious. Reputations grow, word spreads, and the individual being approached has already heard rumors, received warnings, and learned to maintain their distance. Burned bridges harm more than simply previous relationships. The ringleader will learn. Future prospects are also impacted. Every new acquaintance offers the possibility of a new beginning, an opportunity to be unique, and a chance to evolve. The problem with patterns, however, is this. The ringleader hasn't done the necessary effort to break the pattern, Therefore, it keeps repeating until it breaks. Thus, the same strategies will be tried. The same kinds of falsehoods will be told. There will be manipulation in the same methods. These newcomers will soon realize it as well, retreat, and go. The ringleader will attempt to place the responsibility for everything on you. Accordingly, none of this would have occurred if you had just accepted being tiny, less than the target. The group would still be together if you had just remained down when someone tried to push down. Life would remain complete. Reputation would remain strong. It will be attempted if you try to make this seem like you are to blame for a group's coordination against you. That blame, however, will not remain. Not to you. Not to the ex-members of the group who are now pulling away. Not to the locals who see this happening. Because everyone is aware of the true location of responsibility. Everyone can see what was constructed by whom. Everyone knows who initiated this. There are too many witnesses to the facts for the ringleader to attempt to change history. Now you are the emperor, not because ascending to the throne was forced, but rather because developing into it was inevitable, growing into it organically, and stepping into it with confidence. Nobody can take it away from you because it comes from inside. You are the creator of your tale, the architect of your kingdom, and the ruler of your destiny. Through you comes the power of righteousness. You are guided by a divine connection. Heavenly resources help you. What you're accomplishing with grace and favor is what was attempted with teams and coordination. With anointing and purpose, you're completing the meetings and planning that were necessary. You are now doing more than just tracking. You're working in unreachable areas. While they're busy observing you and hatching plans against you, you're communicating with folks who are out of your grasp. You were secretly creating a network that no one was aware of. No one noticed the talents you were gaining. Because no one knew such chances existed, you were generating opportunities that no one could stop. The ringleader believed they knew all there was to know about you. Having you figured out was the idea. The idea was to be able to foresee all of your actions. However, it was happening to monitor the surface as you were creating below it. You were developing genuine relationships while concentrating on your outward appearance. While you were building unseen foundations, you were tracking your visible behaviors. Those foundations are now supporting the weight. Those relationships are already bearing fruit. These abilities are now creating possibilities, and seeing from a distance causes uncertainty about how you arrived at your current position since you only saw a portion of your trip, knew that a portion of your plan was successful, and comprehended a portion of your vision. The members of the group who dispersed are also keeping an eye on your development. Others with real joy for you, others with remorse, and some with adoration. People are seeing what the ringleader attempted to hide. It's happening to realize what the falsehoods attempted to hide. You're starting to see why the ringleader was so determined to stop you. Because everything that was said was untrue, as your achievement demonstrates. A few might reach out eventually, not to apologize necessarily, but to acknowledge, to say, seeing you now is real. Understanding now is happening. Recognizing now what was really happening is occurring. How you respond to those reach-outs is entirely your choice. You don't owe forgiveness. You don't owe access. You don't owe a place in your new chapter. But if choosing to extend grace happens, that's powerful too. That's dominance. Having the power to shut someone out, but choosing connection instead. Other former group members will never reach out. Just watching from afar will happen. Seeing your accomplishments will occur. Hearing about your success through mutual connections will take place. Knowing you're thriving will be the reality. And that knowledge will be its own form of accountability. Remembering participation in trying to stop you will happen. Carrying that weight privately will occur. Living with knowing being on the wrong side of your development will take place. Meanwhile, you're creating the kind of life that speaks for itself. The kind of success that needs no explanation. The kind of growth that requires no defense. People who don't know anything about the group that came against you just see you winning, just see you building, just see you thriving. And drawing to that energy is happening. Wanting to know how you did it exists. Wanting to understand your process is real. Wanting to learn from your path is occurring. You're becoming the exact thing the ringleader tried to prevent. A beacon, an example, a standard, someone others look to for inspiration. Someone whose very existence challenges others to level up. Someone whose success makes people examine their own lives and ask what's possible for them. The ringleader wanted to be that person, wanted to be the center of attention, wanted to be the one everyone looked to. But trying to get there by tearing you down instead of building up was the approach. Trying to shine by dimming your light instead of increasing their own was the method. Trying to rise by pushing you down instead of elevating themselves was the tactic. And it backfired completely because you can't build a reputation on someone else's destruction. You can't create a legacy on someone else's failure. You can't establish yourself on someone else's downfall. Now, you're the reference point. You're the measuring stick. You're the example of what happens when focusing on your own growth instead of someone else's downfall occurs. What happens when investing in building instead of destroying takes place? What happens when choosing purpose over pettiness is the decision? What happens when letting God fight your battles while you handle your business is the reality? You're establishing something beyond shaking, building something beyond moving, creating something beyond destroying because it's not built on hype. It's not established on trends. It's not created through manipulation. It's built on substance, established on character, created through consistency. And those foundations last forever. Rebirth, awakening, revival, recovery, rest. All of these are coming now. The battle is over. The war is won. The fight is finished. Now comes the restoration phase. Now comes the rebuilding season. Now comes the reward period. Everything that was stolen is being returned with interest. Everything that was damaged is being restored better than before. Everything that was broken is being rebuilt stronger than the original. This isn't just getting back to where you were. This is ascending to where you were always meant to be. Time is opening up for you now. Time to heal without interruption. Time to grow without interference. Time to build without sabotage. Time to thrive without opposition. The people who used to drain your energy are gone. The situations that used to steal your peace are over. The attacks that used to consume your focus have ended. You can breathe now. You can rest now. You can enjoy now. Not because the journey is over. Because this phase of the journey is complete. Not because more battles won't come. Because proving you can win them has occurred. Not because threats won't arrive. Because demonstrating that stopping you can't happen has taken place. Your tree is growing freely now. No one cutting at the roots. No one poisoning the soil. No one blocking the sun. Just pure, uninterrupted, divinely ordered growth. And it's happening faster than before. Because when God restores, just bringing you back to baseline doesn't happen. Catapulting you forward to where you would have been if the attack had never happened occurs, plus bonus for what you learned in the battle. Your tree is bigger than you now. It cannot be hidden. Your growth is undeniable. Your success is obvious. Your power is evident. Your calling is clear. And it's only going to get bigger because you're just getting started. This season of warfare is ending. The season of dominance is beginning. Generations from now, people will sit in the shade of what you're planting today, knowing the battles you fought won't happen. Seeing the enemies you defeated won't occur. Hearing about the group that came against you won't take place, but benefiting from the victory you won will happen. Enjoying the freedom you secured will occur. Building on the foundation you laid will take place. That's your legacy. That's your impact. That's your purpose. Not just to win for yourself, to win for everyone who comes after you. Not just to break free personally, to break chains generationally. Not just to succeed individually, to shift your entire bloodline permanently. Use your power wisely. Walk in your authority confidently. Build your empire intentionally. Leave your legacy purposefully, because you're not just living for yourself. You're not just building for your lifetime. You're not just winning for your generation. You're the answer to prayers prayed before you were born. You're the breakthrough your bloodline has been waiting for. You're the one who stopped what's been chasing your family for generations. Welcome to your season, chosen one. The tree is growing. The light is shining. The power is flowing. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. Because what God ordains, no human can prevent. What heaven releases, no earth can contain. What divine purpose establishes, no enemy can dismantle. Coming for you as a group happened. You defeated everyone individually. Coordinating as a team occurred. You won independently. Planning for extended time took place. You turn around in a moment, and everything chasing you went flying in the opposite direction. That's your story. That's your testimony. That's your power. Remember it. Own it. Walk in it. Because you're just getting started and the best is yet to.